welcome to another episode of BioLogic Science News. Today I want to talk about the sad, frustrating situation in Yemen. The national government has been embroiled in a civil war, with Iranian-funded Houthis fighting the Saudi-backed government, and millions of civilians caught in the middle. As is common in war, maintaining the health and welfare of the endangered civilian population can be really challenging. There are the living who have to deal with a collapsed healthcare infrastructure, with non-functional utilities that leave them short on food, clean water, and sanitation. There are the wounded, with bullet holes, broken bones, and traumatic injuries, all vulnerable to infection in the substandard conditions. And then there are the dead, the growing number of corpses carrying disease and attracting disease-carrying scavengers. It's a terribly grim scenario in every war, and the war in Yemen is no exception. But what is unusual is that war-torn Yemen has seen the emergence of the largest, most rapidly spread outbreak of cholera in modern history. The World Health Organization has estimated that more than 800,000 people are infected with cholera, with up to 6,000 new cases being reported every day at the peak of the disease's spread. The number of people exposed to cholera number in the millions, and of those infected, pretty much half of them are children. More than 2,100 people have already died. Compare this to a recent cholera outbreak in Haiti, which infected 815,000 people over a 7-year period beginning in 2010. In Yemen, cholera has infected about the same number of people in 6 months. Leading up to the conflict, Yemen saw a dramatic collapse in its healthcare and sanitation services. Apparently, the government stopped funding their health department in 2016, and that meant that hospital staff have been unpaid for more than a year. Sanitation workers are also unpaid, and so they went on strike, and as a result, garbage built up on public streets, and it contaminated the water supply. As a result, millions of Yemenis don't have clean water, or proper sanitation, or easy access to healthcare. The really frustrating part about this is that cholera can be easily avoided just by boiling water before drinking it. But because so much of the water is contaminated, millions of people are exposed. And you can't expect every single one of them to boil all of their water all the time. It's, as far as resources and time are concerned, in a war zone, it's just unfeasible. Due to the war and the extreme rationing of resources because the resource distribution networks have been shut down, there isn't gas readily available to heat a stove, to boil water. There isn't regular electricity or even enough wood to run a stove, especially in urban centers. These resources just aren't available for a lot of people. If they want to get a gas canister, they would have to walk a great distance through rubble or through a potentially dangerous combat zone. The situation is just terrible. Children are the victims more so than any others because they're the least able to withstand the extreme dehydration of a cholera infection. International aid groups on the ground are providing the bulk of the healthcare services to the Yemeni public, but their efforts are hampered by limited resources and a grinding militarized conflict. The extremely rapid spread of cholera in Yemen is another example in a long list of tragedies caused by diseases that thrive in the instability of war.